Around 20 years ago, people around the world started displaying a range of special powers and abilities. With each year, the number of these cases increased. The governments of the world needed a way to organize and regulate these people. My name is Angus, and I work for the Superhuman Action Response Team. With my partner Sal, I help document these powered individuals and their exploits. Because heroes don't do paperwork. Hello, super citizens, and welcome to Heroes Don't Do Paperwork, the only podcast about events, both big and small, in Super City. I'm one of your hosts, Angus, and this is my co-host, Sal Bedfellow. Sal, how are you doing?
I'm doing quite well. I'm not too excited about our current venue.
No.
I'll be honest.
Yeah, for listeners, I'm preparing for more testing when it comes to becoming a superhuman action response team field agent, and so I figured I need some more textbooks and stuff like that. So I talked Sal into coming to the library with me, the Super
Talked
City Public
into is
Library.
kind of gratuitous. I would
That's
say tricked.
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, if we do go get juice after this, it's not really a trick though, you know?
I'm just saying you kind of buried the lead is
I
all.
definitely did. Yeah. I said I was one of those things where I was like a mom where I was like, well, we just got to go make one quick stop and we're probably going to be here for the next 30 to 45 minutes.
Oh man, heaven forbid you run into one of your
Right,
friends.
for my friends. I don't think we have to worry about that. I haven't uh with the podcast and all, I've been a little too busy to make friends. So we're in the we are that's the only reason we're in the library. Actually, Sal, if we go over this corner, I imagine we can speak up a little bit. um we brought the equipment with us and our mobile setup so that we could record on the go, and we're just trying to avoid the librarian. We've gotten a couple stern looks already,
Hmm.
and it just means a lot more when the person has a dozen eyes.
A dozen eyes and is capable of piercing through the veil of
Oh,
both space and time.
yeah. You definitely know when you're being looked at, and she can move them all independently, like some kind of chameleon. I assume that helps with reading multiple books at once, but I don't want to ask her. She scares me. I'm not gonna lie, Sal.
Yeah, it's certainly something to see four different patrons be shushed
At
and
once,
simultaneously.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
it's insane. Like they all like she delivered one shush, but the four people she was looking at all felt it.
quick to the very core.
As I was saying, listeners, I've got to read up and stuff like that because I wasn't the best test taker in school,
Hmm.
or homework doer, or information retainer. Let's be honest here. So I've kind of got to brush up on some stuff, some math, some geography, probably a little bit, ethics, law, lots of things I should be reading up on. And I figured, who better than Sal? Sal, you strike me as a reader, right?
Yes, no, I'm an avid reader. I actually helped put together the required readings for the S.H.A.R.T field agent training.
Really?
Yes, of course.
Okay, so I guess what are the fundamentals I should be looking for here to cover? Like, how do I manage this? How do I break this down into more digestible chunks?
Key aspects of being a S.H.A.R.T agent is, of course, philosophy. You have to also have a thorough understanding of interpersonal and extrapersonal relationships.
Okay, well, I actually think I got a pretty good handle on that. Because I'm such a good interviewer and host and
Hmm.
listener.
And then, of course, and I suppose this goes without saying, but I will say it, otherwise, what's the point of bringing it up? Uh, you have to have a very thorough understanding of superpowers and their functionings.
I think I got that one on lock. I haven't seen a single comic book here, but that's my main style of reading. I read a
Hmm.
lot of the exploits of our famous heroes. They generally get turned into comic book form, and I read a lot of those.
You know, most of those are fake, right?
Part what? No. I mean, like, I'm sure, like, yeah, some of the dialogue gets zhuzhed a little bit, but like, yeah, no,
Hmm.
the events I imagine are all 100% true.
No, I got a prime example. You remember that story about how Metal Guy was buried
Yeah,
under an entire trash heap and had
yeah.
to break away to freedom?
and he made a suit out of those old like fried chicken buckets. Yeah. That's one of my favorites actually.
Yeah, it
Um,
was not at all instigated by the recycler, his arch villain. No, it was instead caused by a 13-hour cocaine bender.
oh no!
Yeah, recycler had his name dragged through the mud for months, and
Wow.
it wasn't even true. Yeah.
It's interesting too to have a villain whose like theme is such like a objectively good thing.
Well, recycling's actually sometimes worse for the environment.
Oh,
Amount of
really?
amount of runoff it creates sometimes puts more harmful chemicals back into. I don't get me wrong, recycling's great, but I've said this once, and I'll say it again: recycling really should be left up to the professionals.
I will try to keep that in mind. Everyone around the city, you should still be putting blue bin, black bin,
Yeah.
recycling stuff by the.
Hey, reduce. That's your business. Reuse. I encourage you to explore that, but
Sure.
recycle. Hands off. Wait till you get the
Yeah.
proper certifications.
Yeah. But are you like a single use guy? You're big into like single disposable stuff?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, I have yet to have a full set of dinnerware last me a month.
Wait a second. Sorry. We need to dig into this for a second. So you're talking about like plates and forks and knives and stuff?
Absolutely. Single
Okay.
use. Goes right into the garbage once I'm done with it.
So like paper plates.
No, ceramic. I don't need enough paper.
Ceramic. So you're just that must that's so expensive. So like one meal, you're using a plate, one
hmm
meal. Wait, do you have a dishwasher in your home?
Well, I have one that I get rid of after each use, yes.
A dishwasher. That's so expensive, Sal. Sal, wait, okay, wait a second. Okay, I just saw you thumbed at your glasses and you got a little smudge on the lens.
hmm
And now you've taken them off. What are you doing?
Oh, I'm going to throw them out. I've got others in my pocket here.
Just-
These ones have run their course.
it's a pretty small smudge. You could even use your tie, I imagine, to clear that
But
up.
then I'd have to throw out my tie, and I only have one of those.
Sorry, we got shushed. Did you feel that?
Oh my
I
god.
felt. Sorry, I got. Oh, okay.
Oh, it's just,
It makes your skin crawl, like right, like
it's in my marrow.
okay, okay. I think we should move to another section. Okay, so philosophy, power usage. Okay, wow. I gotta. Okay, so I guess I can't get by just reading comic books. I'll have to probably pick up a history book here and there.
hmm
Um,
hmm All right. So prior to coming here, I did take the liberty of having some books set aside for us.
oh, awesome.
We'll just take this cart here and we'll go over to one of the private reading rooms real quick.
Okay.
Just you first,
Oh, already.
and then myself. Okay. So we can speak a little bit louder in here. I wouldn't get too boisterous.
Okay, yeah. And these aren't lead lined walls, right? So the librarian can definitely see us.
Correct. Not lead lined walls. However, it is lead based paint. So don't
That's too
tongues off.
okay. Definitely won't be touching any of it. That's we should look into that. Lead is really bad. So
I don't come here much. It's not
that's
really
fair.
my problem.
I mean, I don't. Yeah, I don't. Not much of a reader, so I actually don't. I thank. Oh, also, Sal, thank you again for fast tracking me to get my library card. I appreciate that.
No problem. You should have it within 10 weeks.
10 weeks. Okay, so all these are going to be checked out on your account then. I hope that's okay.
I don't have an account here.
Then
Ugh.
how are we going to? All right, we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. All right, it's fine. It's fine. We'll figure it out. All right, what do you got for me, Sal?
All right, I got a couple of titles here that should get you started.
Okay.
Starting with philosophy, we've got Does God Have a First Name?
Sorry. That that really seems more in like the theology. Like that is
It's important. The amount of
okay.
times you may run up against an entity that sees itself as a god, but
Oh,
is really
that's
more of a minor deity, and you need to recite its full name in order to seal it back inside of maybe a vase or a jar, a lamp.
yeah, or cell phone. I think we had a bit of a run. Okay, you know what? Considering last week's events, definitely okay. I will take that one. Thank you. Does God have a first name?
We also, of course, Principles of Freedom by Colonel Freedom.
Oh, okay, sure. I
Terrible
okay.
author, great read.
It's a lot of his face. I'm
Yeah.
surprised.
Well, each chapter starts with a miniature biography before
Yeah.
digging into the actual subject matter. We also have one that I really think you should read,
Okay.
"Fighting the Supervillain Within."
Okay, sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Know thy enemy, know how, because like a lot of villains these days are very relatable, we gotta see where they're coming from.
Yeah,
Sal, you don't think I'm at risk of going down that path, do you? Yeah, I feel like I try to do the right thing normally.
I think everyone's at risk of going down that path. That's what makes me such a successful agent.
Huh.
hmm
Okay, okay. Okay, good to know. Okay. Yeah, I'll try to keep that in mind. Okay.
Getting away from philosophy a bit to going into the study of powers, we have, of course, suffocating the indestructible and other useful weaknesses.
Okay, so this is how to beat. These are a book of tactics on how to beat.
Yeah, it's a
Uh,
handy guide on
okay.
various common powers and even some of the more uncommon ones. But certainly, every power in here has at some point been considered a trump card power,
Yeah.
and only through exhaustive research
Okay.
and experimentation have weaknesses been found.
Okay. I just cracked it open. I picked a random one, and this was how to counter someone who can read your thoughts, and it just says think of buttholes.
Yep,
So I,
super effective.
I guess so. I guess so. If you think of only buttholes, then that's all they're seeing, and they might be like, oh no.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's actually a surprisingly similar solution for people with X-ray vision. You just show them your butthole,
Show them your butthole. Yeah,
and
yeah.
then they go, ah, ooh, and then they don't look
Uh-huh.
there anymore.
Heat vision, really big mirror, uh, invisibility. There's lots of like fire extinguishers, stuff like that. Pretty classic stuff.
Ice vision, have them stare at someone with heat vision.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
I love this book. I give this book a read through maybe annually. It's just
Oh, really?
full of great information.
Okay, because this honestly, this probably of all the topics, this is the one I'm definitely most into. I think because this is honestly like growing up, Sal, without a power, I would see villains on TV or in my comic books, and I would think like, well, I don't have a power to vanquish these foes and to stop their evil machinations or whatnot. But I could probably come up with other solutions with it, using what's around me.
I wanna sort of stick on that point, but we're gonna tiptoe back a little bit to
Sure.
philosophy. I do have a book
Yep.
here that I think you, Angus, should read.
Okay.
It's titled "Powers?" Question mark. What's so super about them?
Okay. That's
And I think it's important for you to realize that even though you don't
mhm,
have a power,
mhm.
that not everyone who has a power is just better off because of it.
Okay, yeah, I get, yeah, that's true. Like, okay, so this reminds me a bit of like a Ripley's Believe It or Not. It's actually showing quite a few powers that are like they seem to be detrimental. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like
Man with no bones,
man with no bones, eyeballs on the bottom of the feet,
man with only bones.
man with only bones. Uh, the ability to manifest buttholes. Like, okay, what is?
You would be surprised how frequently buttholes come up.
Yeah.
That is, of course, due to classic superhero, one of the first to really make a name for himself, the Orifice.
Oh
Uh,
no.
he was rather prolific back in the day, had a huge following, and was not afraid to sort of explore that following.
Mhm.
If you catch my drift, he had a lot of children through
Yeah, yeah.
many different partners.
Wait, didn't
Uh,
he start a cult?
he did start a cult, yeah.
Yeah.
The all-seeing brown eye, A-
Oh no.
and it was through that cult that he managed to sire so many heirs.
Mhm.
And
Oh wow.
at that
So,
point, his butthole-oriented superpower sort of saturated the gene pool.
mhm.
You see a lot of people with instead of heat vision, heat butthole.
Heat butthole. Hey, been there, brother.
Of course, X-ray butthole,
Ex- of course.
indestructible butthole.
Mhm. Wow.
Yeah,
Well, that's wow. Okay, that's a slightly before my time, but I will have to keep an eye out out for that trend.
penetrating the all-seeing brown eye was one of the hardest operations I've ever been a part of.
Yeah, I feel like it took. I feel like you need a lot of prep work before you do something like that.
Yeah, well, you have
You
to
gotta
cleanse yourself before you
yeah,
even think of it.
you gotta make sure everybody's on the same page, you
Yeah.
know? You don't you don't wanna
You can't just force your way in there, you're gonna make a
No,
mess.
no, 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 no. Yeah, you gotta be like that's a coordination and cooperation based task for there for sure. Um, I'm Sal. I appreciate this. I'm seeing quite a few self help books on this
Yeah?
on the cart, and I'm
Is
curious
are
about
any of them popping out to you? Any
yeah.
kinda sort of speaking your language?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. There's one here that just says it's okay to be regular, and I'm not sure what that means.
Well, it actually covers a couple of different topics.
Yeah,
It's I imagine you were wanting kind of like a synopsis of it.
yeah. Give me just like what's the like the like the back of the book or like the inside of the jacket like description
Right.
of this kind of thing.
So it's broken up into three parts.
Okay,
The first one covers how it is okay to just be a regular person. You don't need to be a superhero. You can have a power and just be a regular member of society.
okay, sure.
Second part is you don't need to go and off the walls with your selections in life. It's okay to just choose regular
Hmm.
options when presented them.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
and then lastly, it's okay to eat bran and
Brand,
fiber
yeah,
and flaxseed to really make sure
yeah,
you
yeah.
have regular BMs.
Okay, so I feel like you're worried about me in some way, and I like okay. I take a lot of bathroom breaks at work, and it's usually just an excuse to kind of get up and walk away from my desk. So like you don't have to worry about me in that regards. I'm everything is a okay.
Other self-help books here that I picked out for you. These may be more important in the future,
Hmm.
but I just want to highlight them now because a lot of our agents
Hmm.
find them helpful. A really important one that is read very frequently.
Mm.
So you just witnessed your partner's execution.
that's that's a tough one. I haven't obviously God willing, hopefully I don't run into any issues like that, but it is a very unfortunately a very common occurrence in Super City. Got a lot of loose cannon cops that lose their partners. We've got a lot of superhero duos that lose their
Mhm.
partners. People lose
An
sidekicks, and
unfortunate amount of people very close to retirement just bite the
yeah,
big
it's
one.
true. It's retirement rate in Super City is very low.
Yeah.
There's always a spike about 3 or 4 days before someone's retirement where where a danger usually finds
It
them.
is uncanny. There's only like three people actively drawing from the pension.
It's wow.
Ah,
That's that sounds like a problem, but I'm not an economist. I don't know how to deal with that, so we'll leave that to tax tyrant.
yeah.
The
The accountant superhero slash supervillain, depending
yeah,
on the time of year.
yeah, exactly. So he's always flip flopping, but you
Yeah.
know. Sal, okay, this is weird. I feel like these are in here by accident. I'm seeing a couple of these like romance novels.
That's no accident.
Okay,
Romance novels are important because they
okay.
allow you to capture the imagination.
Oh, that's right. And we talked with my night class teacher, Eustace Henge, about like the art of seduction and stuff like that, and how
Mm-hmm.
to
Yeah.
woo. What was it, a Liberian noble or something like that?
Right.
So, okay, I get this.
That's a very narrow seduction scenario. You won't always be running into nobility.
Hang on a second. There's something about the guy on the cover of this book, you know, the
Mm-hmm.
shirt open with the rippling abs, the particular style of clothing and haircut. Sal, this guy kind of looks like you.
That would be weird.
I don't know. It's weird. Yeah. Who's the author of this? The author is
The author that you're trying to read there is Sal Ami de Couche.
okay. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Salami de Couche. Um it's I don't know. It's just got an interesting ring to it. It reminds me. Anyway, it's probably just a coincidence.
I wouldn't dig into it too deep. In
Sal, if
fact,
you
here, let
were
me just take that book off the pile there.
yeah, I don't want you don't want me to see a picture of the author on that one. Sal, if you were writing love romance novels in your spare time. You tell me, right?
Absolutely.
Are you?
Luckily, Sal Bedfellow
It
does
does not.
not write novels in his spare time.
Ah, you're right. All right. All right. Moving on.
Ah, Angus, I'll level with you. These books, they're fine. I recommend you read them. We'll figure out some way of getting you out of this building with these books.
Hmm.
But I'm still not completely sold on the concept of libraries.
Well, how come? How come, man? I don't know. It seems like a good idea, right? Like people who you don't like how many people have bookshelves at their home that are like full of books they're not going to use. It's kind of actually like reusing and recycling, right? Like a book, goes from one person, you read it, you're done with it. You don't really need it anymore, right? You give it to someone else.
Yeah, and once again, I'm fully in support of reusing
Hmm.
things. But I personally have a problem with the concept that something only be bought once. Uh, I'm a huge endorser of everyone owning
Yeah,
things.
yeah, yeah,
Ownership is one of the key functions of
yeah,
society.
yeah, definitely. Yeah, you're one of those guys that like everyone should have a car. Public
Yeah, you
transit,
never hear
no.
about people doing car shares or ride shares. Absolutely
Actually,
ridiculous.
actually, that is Sal. It's Sal. That is a thing we've done. I guess though, like you were driving me around though, because like I couldn't have a car.
Hmm.
Sal, I want to dig into this slightly. I feel like everyone in Super City, there's always like origin stories for everything. Do you have like an origin story with libraries or a librarian that like make you so averse to them?
Uh,
Uh-oh.
it's amazing how well your training's coming along. You're so keen now. You're so perceptive. I do have an origin story,
Yeah.
but it'll take us way back.
Oh, it will? Wait.
It was a bright summer afternoon. My mother had invited me to go strawberry picking.
Wait, hang on. I feel like I've heard this story before.
You have, because I didn't tell all of it to you.
What?
Yes, I'll spare you most of the details, but I'll cover them briefly for readers that haven't heard, or readers.
This is being transcribed. It's okay.
Okay, good. For readers that haven't heard the story in a while, I had gone strawberry picking with my mother. While picking strawberries, I felt a weird moisture gathering around my waist. It was an accumulation of berry paste from walking through the fields, and it was how I discovered that I had a band of gravitational energy centered around my waist. It was a fateful day for me, but it did not end with delicious berries plucked from a garden. No, because after we went berry picking, we went to the library.
Oh no. I feel bad evoking a motherly aspect coming to the library. But at the beginning of this, what happened?
When I was young, I was so naive. The idea of a library just sounded so pure. Everything organized in its place with a
Yeah.
proper paper trail to track its usage and its location. You can't write a better system. I had the book I wanted to take out, Angus. I had plucked it from the shelf. It was beautiful. How to Make Fine Berry Jams.
That's a good book for a child. Because you were like 6 or something, right?
I was
Wow.
6 and keen on making my own preserves and jams.
Yeah.
But, as I would later find out, it was not to be. For you see, Angus, until such a time that the book is scanned through the system and placed in your hands, it's still anyone's book.
Oh
And
no.
that's where I find the wild side of libraries to be unacceptable. Inside the walls of the library, the people are animals.
That's
You leave an interesting book on a table, or you leave it unattended for a moment, and it could just disappear. And everything you worked towards, everything you wanted, is gone.
oh god, Sal. I'm sorry. So someone took the book and
Someone
you
took the
couldn't.
book, and I couldn't make my strawberry jam. Those berries rotted in my fridge.
You could have just You guys could have just eaten them.
Eaten them?
Just
These
berries,
were
yeah.
late seasoned strawberries, Angus.
Oh
They
God,
were
I'm
fully
sorry.
ripened and perfect for preserves and
For
jams.
preserves. I'm so sorry. What was I thinking? Sal, oh God, Sal, I'm really sorry about that, man. Jeez, that's got to be tough. That would hang with you, certainly if you were a kid. Like I had a bad experience at a dentist when I was a kid. It's like I hate going to the dentist. I get how that stuff kind of sticks with you, you know?
After that day, Angus, I realized that the only way to make sure a book would stay yours was to buy it, keep a receipt.
Wait, so do you have a receipt for all the books you own?
I own exactly 527 books, and I have exactly 527 receipts for my books.
Hang on a second. For the listener, I'm noticing now Sal has a giant bulge in his back pocket. Are they all in your wallet?
Where else would I put them?
I don't know, but anywhere but your wallet. That's really bad for your back, man. If you're sitting on you're off kilter like that all day.
Oh, I just keep two equally thick wallets.
Oh, jeez. What's in the other one?
Coupons for bookstores.
Wow. Okay. Well, huh. Jeez. Okay. I feel like we've learned a lot today. At least I think we have.
At
Um,
least that's one thing libraries are good for.
for teaching us things, and I for the listeners out there, I totally recommend go check out your public library. They've got more than just books. Like I know a lot of them are doing movies now. Some do video games. Arts and crafts supplies.
You could even check out your own super gadgets: grappling hook,
Pardon me.
explosive boomerang.
Hang on. Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Here?
Yeah. Why do you think
Okay.
it takes so long to get a library card? There's a security check involved.
Background check. The waiting period.
Yeah, it pretty much gives you a full license to check out any
Okay.
sort
Well,
of gadget you want.
Sal, can we please? Okay, Sal, let's wrap the show up, and we gotta go check out the gadgets, please.
Okay.
Okay. How about this? Let's let's each recommend a book to the listeners that maybe something you're reading right now, something I'm about to read. Let's each recommend a book, to the listener.
Okay. Did you want to start or did you want me to start?
I can start. I have Oh, actually, Sal, I've got this book. It looks really looks really interesting. It's called Small Beginnings, Unfortunately Poorly Timed Large Endings, the tragic story of how Giganto died. So this seems to be a whole book about the size-changing hero Giganto.
Hmm.
You guys will remember he passed away, several months back at this point. Beautiful, lovely ceremony, beautiful ceremony. And it's kind of it's about the struggles of having a size-changing power and when it is safe or unsafe to use that.
Wow, that does sound
So
like
yeah,
a
it
thrilling read.
sounds yeah, it sounds riveting. I figured I'd check that one out. What about you?
I have a book here that I think everyone should read, ages 6 and up, of course. 56 fun preserves and jam recipes. I really like this because it teaches you how to make jams and preserves.
I, yeah, that's on brand. I think that makes sense. Now this is the library's copy, but you have a copy of this at home.
I never leave without it.
Oh, okay. This is your copy.
No, this one here's the library copy. This one here in my breast pocket is my
Yeah,
personal copy.
it's so confusing, but okay. Well, that sounds like a lovely read. Now, you know what? Maybe we should try. Maybe we could do a jam episode sometime. Sal, what do you think of that?
Sure, just be sure to bring your own copy of the book.
Of course, legally purchased and all.
Hmm.
Well, that's going to do it for us here at Heroes Don't Do Paperwork. Uh, all the listeners at home, thank you for listening, and try to do the right thing. All right, Sal. I think if we slip the librarian some money, she might just let me check some of these books out.
Yeah, well, or we just don't leave when the door's locked tonight. Library
Library
slumber
slumber
party.
party. Hey everybody, Angus here. As always, Sal Bedfellow was played by Matthew Wally. Matthew and I performed together with the Dungeons & Dragons inspired improv team, Quest Friends Forever. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Quest Friends Forever. Heroes Don't Do Paperwork is a Pod Cavern production. If you like the show, check out the other shows on the Pod Cavern. And if you want to support the show, go to podcavern.com and use the Amazon affiliate link anytime you're shopping on Amazon. It doesn't affect the price, and it'll send a few bucks back to us. Thanks for listening.